ladies and gentlemen, this is a Canadian education information session for permanent residence pathway. My name is Joey Stephen and I am a Canadian immigration practitioner, or in other words, I am authorized by the Canadian government to represent your immigration interests for a fee. We must check credentials of all speakers, especially online. And please follow this link to check mine. It's polinsys.co/c. This 40-minute video is separated into chapters and could assist you in selecting the right course and location of study in Canada from your permanent residence standpoint, which could impact your future. Study in Canada produces some rich results, but it can be much richer if you plan and strategize. Today is a special session for international students coming to Canada to study, and we are going to discuss why it could be helpful. Immigration and Canadian permanent residence is not a given. It is based on two very core factors. One is the quotas an immigration program has, and the other is the qualifications to participate in the program. The year 2020 and 2021 was relatively easy when it comes to permanent residence for students in Canada because of the COVID pandemic. It was particularly easy because the pandemic restricted travel from overseas and immigration quotas had to be filled with candidates from within Canada. And students benefited the most. Students inside Canada benefited the most. It is unlikely to be the same in the coming years because the world is opening up and travel is expanding. More importantly, Canadian permanent residence pathways are most often based on work experience, which is one of the challenges for students in Canada. Service for permanent residence pathways for those who need such service. We are going to discuss that now. Today, representing an application to Canada is expensive because of the time it takes. If you go to an authorized consultant, you are going to spend a lot of money. We are attempting to reduce the time for service, thereby increasing efficiency, reducing cost. We are working very hard to create a guided platform which assists applicants to represent for permanent residence. Polinsys has partnered with another Canadian corporation, the Student Herald, who is a recruitment firm. We are also joining forces with the third Canadian corporation, Pearl Post Nova Scotia, so that we can offer a platform to effectively address multiple immigration pathways in a cost-effective manner, especially for international applicants and especially for people from developing countries. We will release the platform by the end of December 2021 or early 2022. You will be wondering why I am talking about this in an education information session. But as we go along, you will understand why. Where you study in Canada, which place you study in Canada impacts your permanent residence pathway. And your choice of course as well impacts your permanent residence pathway. Keep in mind, there are several permanent residence pathways to Canada, and education pathway is only one of them. Please follow advice provided in your housekeeping document. https://polinsys.co/hked, housekeeping for education. And try multiple pathways if possible based on your eligibility norms and your circumstance. The education market is mainly serviced by overseas education agencies, and that is a good thing. If you have one close to your home, please use them because it conveniences you. But keep immigration in your mind. Keep Canada in your mind. And ultimately, your settlement and your future depends on your Canadian permanent residence. Therefore, what you do in your home country impacts your future. Always keep immigration in your mind and come to these free information sessions or events on Canadian permanent residence pathways. They are free. This is your very very important part of your future. Today's program is to leverage education as a pathway for Canadian permanent residence approach after doing a course in Canada, an educational program in Canada. We can discuss some of the core benefits followed by some of the challenges. We should know of challenges too. Our approach is data-driven, meaning we pursue opportunities based on quotas. Students must understand when you come to study in Canada that the number of temporary residents in Canada at any given time is much more than the quota for permanent residents under Canadian Experience Class. Therefore, you must keep in mind your chance for permanent residency improves with your knowledge of Canadian immigration programs related to permanent residency. Most students avoid this, and therefore, those who do benefit from the immigration knowledge they could acquire. Okay, we'll now talk about the benefits. Studying the right course could result in a PGWP or a postgraduate work permit, which is also referred to internationally as a stayback. If you study in a publicly funded institution, I mean a Canadian college or a university for 2 years, it results in you obtaining a 3-year PGWP or postgraduate work permit. And if you are lucky to get into the right job, you could apply for Canadian permanent residence after 1 year of work experience, leading to permanent residence under the Canadian Experience Class if your score is right. There are so many ifs and buts. This is sometimes a challenge because the quotas for permanent residence under CEC or Canadian Experience Class does not meet the demand. There are always many more temporary residents in Canada seeking to compete for the limited quotas. Even with high immigration quotas, these days the demand far exceeds the quotas, and it's not uncommon to find that a student may not have the right type of job to apply for Canadian permanent residence. Today's first part, we are going to discuss how to overcome this barrier, and we'll also show how people with experience could target Canada as a destination through an education program leading to Canadian permanent residence. In this presentation, I will discuss 3 different avenues. First, I am going to discuss some key federal programs which will assist in Canadian permanent residence through the Canadian education, through taking a Canadian education program. And later, I will discuss about strategies and approaches through exam.